Hey, what's up, guys? For this series, the Let's Talk Hockey series, the background is not going to be gameplay. It's going to be the team's logo of whoever I'm talking about, or if I'm just talking about the NHL in general, it'll be an NHL logo. If I'm talking about a certain player, it'll be that player's picture. But yeah, I think this is how I'm going to do things for this series. Again, this channel is going to be more focused on news stories and just overall tech and recreational stuff. But I do want to have a certain part of my channel devoted to hockey because it's something I'm passionate about, and I think it'll come across in the videos. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get right into episode 1 of Let's Talk Hockey. So, the team that I want to talk about today is the Washington Capitals. Partly because right now, I've been cheering for Washington for a long time. I'm a diehard Washington Capitals fan. But they're not doing things right. And it's really starting to piss me off. Okay, so Washington kind of became bandwagon famous, I guess if you want to say, in 2010 when they had that President Trophy winning year. Green played great. Alexander Semin had a great year. Ovechkin had a good year. Backstrom had a good year. There was no injuries. And things just went well. They had a good coach in Bruce Boudreau. They were a running gun, offensive team that everybody who was like young, like people in my school, all of a sudden they really started liking Washington. And I don't know. I was obviously pretty happy about that year. Then you go into the playoffs and you get kicked out in 7 games against the Montreal Canadiens. The President's Trophy winning team, arguably our best chance ever to win the Stanley Cup in franchise history. And from a 3-1 series lead, we end up losing in Game 7. Now that was heartbreaking. But what did Washington do after that? They changed their very identity. Look, I get that you lost one 7-game series, but you're the President's Trophy winning team. You were doing something right. They bring in Dale Hunter. They lose their offensive touch. They still make it into the playoffs because they're a quality hockey team. But I think that Dale Hunter year really kind of damaged them. Now you have Adam Oates, and even though Washington isn't a top team this year by any stretch in the regular season, they're definitely a playoff team. I know they're going through a bad stretch like right now, but that every team is streaky throughout the year. But there are some changes Washington has to make. Again, I'm pleased with the new direction that Oates is taking kind of the game plan towards, but I think the general manager needs to do some things. Now, I'm not going to get into talking about getting rid of Philip Forsberg in that Erat trade because I could rant about that forever and probably start crying at the end. But I'm going to talk about players on this team that McPhee should have moved long ago. And the mistakes he's made with the roster. So, before I say anything, I'm going to say Alexander Ovechkin. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player, and he's the best goal scorer in the league. But he might be holding Washington back in a way because you can't rebuild with Ovechkin. It wouldn't be fair to him. Ovechkin, he's in his prime now. I think he's 27, 28. And, I mean, say you go through a 5-year rebuild, because that's how long it would take at least. You've got a 33, 32-year-old Alexander Ovechkin you have to deal with. You have to deal with that crazy cap hit. And the Ovechkin isn't going to be the Ovechkin that you see today. He might be, but it's doubtful. So, Ovechkin, if we didn't have that good year and we rebuilt a year earlier, I'd be all for a rebuild. But let me get into this here. Nicholas Backstrom, he's not going anywhere. He's Ovechkin's center. You have to build your team around Ovechkin and Backstrom. Again, the Capitals don't have to rebuild. They have to retool. The third leading point getter this year is Mikhail Grabovski. This guy, I don't like him as a second-line center. Maybe I'll grow to like him, but I wish he had a bit more size and a bit more physicality to him. He's kind of like a nerfed Alexander Semin. That's my opinion, but I'd be fine with keeping Grabovski. Marcus Johansson didn't make Team Sweden. Really pissed about that. Sweden's loss. He's a great kid. He's fourth on the team in scoring. And, I have no problem with the first line being Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Johansson. Honestly. Then you get down into players like Joel Ward, Jason Chimera, Troy Brouwer, Fair, Erat. Those are 5 guys right there. And Brooks Lake. I'll throw him into the mix. That's 6 guys. We have too many third liners. Some of them are going to have to play on the fourth line, and some of them are going to have to play on the second line. What if you trade, 2 of those third liners and a draft pick, and you get a legitimate second liner? I don't know why McPhee didn't do this. It's to me, it just seems like common sense. Prospect-wise, I know you've got that kid, Yevgeny Kuznetsov. Some have called him the best player not currently in the NHL. But I have to see the kid play in the NHL first. I don't think we can just put all our eggs in the Kuznetsov basket. I really don't. So, let me move on to defense here. So I've addressed the problem with our forwards. We've got a few really good players that I'd like to build around. But I don't like how we have so many third liners and we don't have a distinguished fourth line and a distinguished second line. So, now defense. The biggest mistake McPhee made was signing Mike Green to that ridiculous $6 million a year contract. My goodness, that was terrible. This guy, he barely makes our roster. And, he had 2 good years. This guy's terrible. Buy him out. I'd love to see a buyout of Mike Green in the offseason this year. When he's not in the lineup, we play so much better. It is the worst thing ever. Mike Green, please, just shoot yourself, bud. Then you get into our good defensemen, and we've got 2 of those. John Carlson. This is an elite defenseman. This is the most under-recognized player in the league. And if you say, yeah, I think John Carlson's pretty good, that enforces my point. He is the most under-recognized player in the league. You watch this guy play, and you watch Pietrangelo play. Am I comparing John Carlson to Alex Pietrangelo, you ask? Yes. Am I being biased? No. John Carlson is as good as, if not better than Pietrangelo. And you can dissect their game. Damn it. Watch all of Pietrangelo's shifts this year and watch all of Carlson's. There is nothing between these 2 guys. And everybody considers Pietrangelo an elite-style defenseman, but John Carlson, yeah, he's pretty good. He's an elite-style defenseman, and he is just as valuable as a Nicholas Backstrom to the Washington Capitals. Karl Alzner, he's a great shutdown guy, and I think he's got a lot of upside if he can start to develop that 2-way game. I've already made my rant on Mike Green, not going to go any farther. And then you have Washington's signature problem. It was addressed by Dennis Weidman somewhat. We have 3. Well, Mike Green isn't, but he plays in the top 4. But we don't have top 4 defensemen. And McPhee, damn it, if you could find somebody that's willing to take Mike Green's contract, God willing, they think that he's still a top 4 style defenseman, right now you pick up that phone and you make that phone call. Because we need a legitimate top 4. We've got our top 2. We need 2 more guys. You look at our prospect pool for defensemen. Dmitry Orlov, he might be able to fill one of the roles. Nate Schmidt. He's a really good defenseman prospect for us. And you've got guys like Urbaum that have been playing a few games for us. John Erskine. But those guys I'd rather have in the bottom 6. So McPhee, you gotta get rid of Green, buyout method, whatever. And you gotta find yourself top 4 defensemen and at least one good second line winger. Okay, because I know that we've got Kuznetsov coming. If you can find yourself, you know what, hell, one top 4 defenseman and one top 6 forward, Washington will be set. Am I saying they're going to win the cup? No. But I'm saying they have a legitimate chance of winning the cup if you do that. Anyways, guys, if you're still here after all this time, you are a beast. And I think I have earned your like, perhaps. If you really enjoyed it, you can subscribe. But what would mean the most to me, because I am such a small channel, and I'm not going to bitch and whine about how hard it is to grow. But god damn it, I want to bitch and whine, because it is so hard. Please tell one person about it. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your friend from school. I don't care if it's your hot sister. I don't judge here. But tell one person about this channel, and I will love you forever. Just one person. That's all I could ask. Above liking and favoriting and subscribing, that's the best thing that you could do. Anyways, thank you for listening to this video, and thank you even more for supporting my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.